Hi there, and welcome to the next interview in our Our Lady faculty and staff interview series. Today we are happily joined by Miss Brandy Balser, one of our kindergarten teachers. Brandy, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. So this is a fun conversation. For full disclosure, Brandy is the teacher of my youngest son right now in kindergarten. So of anybody's e-learning, I am really, really up to date on what kindergarten's doing. And I was just telling her it's been really, really good. No complaints on my end for our kindergarten experience so far. Not the one we'd prefer to end kindergarten with, but I think you guys have done a great job, you and Carrie Beth, of keeping the kids engaged and trying to reach out and talk to them. So I just wanted, before we get started, thank you for your efforts that you guys have both shown there.
Oh, thank you so much for saying that. It's been awesome working with Mrs. Andrus. She's the best.
She is. She's great. Brandy, just for a second, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself to those who may or may not know you and just give us a little bit of your background.
All right. My name is Brandy Balser. My two younger brothers and I are born and raised in New Albany. I attended Holy Family for kindergarten through 8th grade. My mom actually is still the organist there at the 10:30 Mass. So we frequent their masses sometimes as well. Let's see. After Holy Family, I went to Providence. And then after Providence, I started at IUS right away and went for a little bit and just decided I kind of needed a break. I don't know, I just needed to regroup. So I ended up working full-time instead. I actually became a pharmacy technician at Mathis Pharmacy for a while. I really love it there. It's family owned and they're awesome. So after a little while of working there, I decided I was ready to go back to school, and I went back to IUS. And I always thought I wanted to be a teacher, but I was torn between teaching and nursing. So I ended up taking a career class, and they let you like shadow different professions, and they taught you interview skills. And the professor there actually really encouraged me to go into teaching. She thought I would be a good teacher. So I ended up going with that and finishing my degree at IUS. And I still worked at Mathis through that time. And then I ended up interviewing at Our Lady it was right before graduation, and I had one interview like Mrs. Haynes with Mrs. Horton,
Wow.
and the rest was meant to be, I suppose.
So nursing and teaching, both very nurturing professions. So you kind of had a sense of the type of job you thought you might like, but
Yes.
it's interesting. I mean, I can relate. As I said in my interview, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do either, and it kind of hit me later on. It already started that education was where I felt like I would needed to be. What year is this for you at Our Lady?
This is my 9th year. So the kindergarten, the 8th grade class was my first class as well. Pat
Well, I
and I,
saw the
Mr. McGuire and
photo.
I,
Yeah, I saw the
yeah,
photo that Mr. McGuire had on. So you guys
yeah.
taught that class together, is that right?
It was insane. We were both first year, we were both first year teachers there. And, you know, there were no other kindergarten teachers. So we kind of, and Mrs. Hammond, who was a legend at Our Lady, I mean, she had been there forever. Um, her and another teacher kind of taught together in this huge room, which was preschool and pre-K, what preschool and pre-K is now, one huge room. And we kind of walked into that. I know we spent the whole summer kind of like digging through all the stuff from their, 40 years of teaching. And it was crazy. It was kind of baptism by fire, but we survived, and it was definitely experience.
Does anything stand out to you about that first day with you and Mr.
Oh,
McGuire? I mean, just
I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I I just remember being really nervous and excited, but I mean, I went home and cried that night, the entire night. Like I just felt like, what have I gotten myself into? And I know, and Pat the next day said, did you feel like that last night too? And we both did. We were both, I mean, I started researching nursing again. I'm not going to lie. No. But no, after that first day, we found our footing, and it was, I feel like, a really good year. And I found the video that I made at the end of the year for graduation, and it just helped me remember that it really was a wonderful year. I felt like I was floundering the whole
yeah.
time, barely surviving, but I feel like we had a good year and lots of good experiences, and they turned out okay, I think. So
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a common feeling for teachers in their first year. I mean, I think back to my first year, and I think I was probably pretty bad. At least, at least what I was doing when I stopped teaching versus when I started. I know I was not very good, but it just takes time to kind of find
yeah.
your rhythm and find what works for you. Was kindergarten something you had thought about, or was there a specific grade level, or was just,
Um, definitely the younger grades.
yeah.
I feel like they would eat me alive in the bigger grade, like for sure they would. But I love the younger grades. I feel like kindergarten and first would probably be my preference in general. But
Mhm.
I love kindergarten. They have my heart now.
Talk a little bit about how you go about and kind of the partnership between you and Miss Andrus, and let's start with like normal school, what it looks like from a planning perspective with you and Miss Andrus back when we're in the building, and how you two work together.
Yeah. We just try to get together whenever we can to discuss kind of where we want to go the next week. I feel like she's kind of my soulmate of teaching. So we are on the same page. We just are thinking the same things a lot, and we both love finding new ideas. And I don't know, we're really good, I think, at balancing. Okay, well, you did this last time, let me do it this time, and kind of sharing the load. But we just get together and kind of hold on, I'm getting a phone call there.
Okay.
Can you still see me? Okay.
Yeah.
We just try to think about like all of the subjects and things that we need to teach, and where we are and where we're headed with the kids, and kind of where we need to be. So we're just always looking for new ideas and bouncing things off each other, I think.
Yeah. I apologize. This is a hard question, but for a family perhaps that might be looking at Our Lady as a kindergarten destination for their child, could you give just a basic rundown of what a typical day would look like? I know you guys have your morning meetings and whatnot, but just kind of what does the flow and rhythm of a kindergarten day? How do you guys organize that?
Yeah, I definitely think there has to, we definitely have structure, because I think kids thrive on that. So our days are pretty similar. We start every morning with one of my favorite parts, which is them greeting each other. We have jobs every week. So a kiddo each week is our greeter, and they get to pick, I think there might be 6 or so choices, whether it's high five or a dance party, which is my favorite, or like an elbow shake, and they get to greet each child as they come in. And then we just get our day going with morning announcements and hooray and pray. And we usually always have reading in the morning.
Mhm.
We always do guided reading, which is another one of my favorites, and have centers during that time, and they rotate. At the beginning of kindergarten, I mean, we have to teach them kind of how to function in those centers independently, so that we can have Mrs. Lowry, my amazing assistant, and then myself can each have a group in guided reading. And we also kind of have to see where every kid comes in. I think kindergarten, they come in on such a wide range of where they are ability wise. So we kind of gauge that. The beginning of year is learning about procedures, but once they get going, then we have our guided reading and workstations, writer's workshop, depending on when our special area classes are, could either be in the morning or afternoon. We have 2 recesses, which the
Yes, you
kids
do. A
love,
highlight
which
of
I think is
kindergarten.
so
Yeah.
important. I think they learn just as much out on the playground as they learn in the classroom, as far as what's important, because in the classroom obviously we're working on their minds, but I feel like on the playground not only are they physically being active, but they're learning how to function as little human beings and getting along and choosing kindness. So we have a recess before and after lunch, or actually after lunch we have math, and then we have another recess. And then normally in the afternoon, at least 2 days a week, we switch for science and social studies.
Mhm.
So that's kind of our day.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned the centers, and like, because I've seen you and Miss Lowry working with your specific groups, but
Mhm.
I'm sure it does take some time. But the times that I've been in there, the kids pick up on, even if they're at a station where you guys aren't right on top of them, they know what they're supposed to be doing. And if they don't, you guys redirect them. But it's kind of cool to watch them rotate around, and they get to that spot, and then they just get to work. They pick up their clipboard, they put their earphones on, whatever the station is. But it's really fun to see that.
Well, thanks. It's a well-oiled machine, but it takes time, a lot of time.
It does, I'm sure it does.
There's like 2 phases in kindergarten. I feel like before Christmas and after Christmas. And like before Christmas, although we have our centers and reading groups up and running, they're just, we're working on walking in a line and tucking in our shirts and just a lot of different things. And then my favorite time of year is after Christmas. They're just, they become so independent and their writing just flourishes and it's awesome.
Yeah. If you would talk a little bit about how you guys pair up with the 8th graders and they have their 8th grade buddies, what does that look like?
Yeah, they love their buddies so much. At the beginning of the year, we give Mrs. Carver and Miss Gish a list of our kindergartners, and they pair them up with an 8th grader. And it depends on the class sizes. Sometimes an 8th grader might have 1 buddy, and sometimes an 8th grader might have 2 buddies. It depends on how equal our classes are. I think they are exactly the same this year, so everybody had 1 buddy. We start off, I think the first thing we do is a get to know you activity. But we go to all school masses with our buddies, which the kids love. And then we try to do some fun things throughout the year. We make butter with them around Thanksgiving. They make these really awesome Bible story books. I think they do that in religion every year. And then they share it with their buddy. They read it to them. And then the buddies, I think, get to keep the books, which was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, again, I've heard a lot about that, having a kindergartner and walking over and sitting with the church. So that's definitely a highlight. What would you say, again, I preface this with every person I've talked to, every kid's different. But in general, what is the goal for you and Miss Andrus as they end their year with you and go to 1st grade? Where do you want them to be? Like, what do you want them to take out of kindergarten?
Oh, goodness. Well, definitely we want to have them academically ready. I mean, we want them to be reading at a certain level and writing. We go from just basically telling our stories with pictures to finishing with informative writing about different topics. And we do persuasive writing and narratives. So they grow so much, academically, but also just that they're able to choose kind and that they can work on solving their problems with each other by using their words and without coming to a teacher first, by trying to solve it themselves. So I don't know, just the whole body experience inside and out, that they're ready to be 1st graders.
They are. I bragged on this earlier in a previous interview, but again, I want to thank you guys for what you were able to pull off our last day at school, where we had the canceled field trip and you guys had a few hours to put together a plan for the movies and the popcorn and turning the rooms into theaters. I mean, that might have been better than the actual trip. I don't know, but experiences like that, I think, are what your kiddos are going to remember. I think that we're all going to remember how this year ended, but hopefully over time that is outweighed by the times that you guys did have in class, and they'll kind of remember those things. So along those lines, what has it been like as a kindergarten teacher? I've had a lot of discussions with parents and fellow teachers, and I think just based on age, sometimes e-learning is I don't want to say easier for some, because none of it's easy, but it can be more self-directed with the older age groups. Whereas with kindergarten, I think you and Miss Andrus know that they're not going to be logging on by themselves. They're not going to be submitting assignments by themselves. So they're going to need a lot of help, whether that's from another parent, a grandparent, older brother and sister, whatever the case may be. So if you wouldn't mind, what are you and Miss Andrus trying to do with your e-learning, and how has that been, trying to teach from your homes to your little guys who you can't be with in person?
It was a crazy transition. It has been crazy, but I feel like we've learned a lot. Yeah. We're really, I feel like we're really good at Google Classroom now. We just wanted, we wanted to make it as meaningful as possible, but we also didn't want the parents in tears either. So we've been trying to make as many videos as we can, so that the kids can see us and try to be engaged. that was kind of nerve-wracking at first, figuring that out and knowing that the parents are standing right there seeing everything. Because you mess up and say something at school, the kids won't catch it, but I'm like, oh, the parents are going to catch that. And I love to be outside. It's my favorite place. So my neighbors probably think I'm insane because I do a lot of my videos outside and I have to restart them 3 or 4 times. So they probably think I'm crazy, but it's been good. So we've done a lot of videos. We've tried to incorporate Google Slides as much as possible. We're really fortunate. I mean, our parents are awesome. They've been so supportive. They've all gotten emails. Hopefully when they have questions, they feel like they can email us and we try to answer them as fast as they can. They've been really flexible, and we've been able to meet with the kindergartners through Google Meet at least once a week, which has been nice. We've still been able to do our celebrations and our prayers together. We did a KinderStar over Google Meet this past week. It was our last KinderStar we hadn't been able to meet with yet. So we did his over Google Meet, which was interesting. But it's definitely been a learning experience. But we've just been doing the best we can.
Yeah, that's the situation everybody's been in. But what I thought was really cool is that, like many teachers in many schools, you guys organized a little parade drive-by of all your students. But with kindergarten, you guys kind of got beat to the punch by the kids, didn't you?
We did. I mean, talk about a surprise. It was crazy. We were planning our parade for the kindergartners, thinking, we're gonna surprise them, and we were so excited to do it. And then one of the parents called me and said she had something for me and needed me to come out. And I thought, well, maybe she's bringing me cookies or something. I thought I was going to get a sweet treat. And I come out and there's all these cars, and I thought it was very odd that I thought someone was having a party at first, but it was for me, and it was so special. And there were some people next door treating my neighbor's lawn, and they thought it was so awesome. They were very complimentary of our parents, but they got us good.
It was really cool, and they got me too. I didn't know they were coming, so I think they got me, you, and Miss Andrus all on the same day.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Well, you survived that round of questions. Are you ready for the quick lightning round questions, Miss Balser? We'll go easy on you.
Okay.
All right. Texting or talking?
Oh, that's a tricky one. I think texting is very convenient. I use it a lot.
Yep.
But I like to talk to my mom. Texting's not the same with that. So for in some circumstances, I prefer talking. It's just easier, but.
Sure. Do you have a nickname, or did you have a nickname growing up?
I remember my mom used to call me Brando Nico sometimes because my middle name's Nicole.
Okay.
My family has a Halloween thing we do every year. It's a pig roast. We call it the Pigoween. And I think we started in 2002, and I think maybe the 4th year we had a haunted hayride, and Ben and I were still dating at that time, but we got married in that, and my character's name was Brandilla Pork, I think.
Okay.
And so my family still calls me Brandilla sometimes.
All right. Let's say you go back in time and you see high school sophomore Brandy, and you say you're going to grow up to be a kindergarten teacher. What would high school sophomore Brandy think?
She would believe it.
Yeah?
She would be on board.
You have a favorite holiday?
Gosh, I love the holidays. Probably Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Scale of 1 to 10, how good of a driver are you?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know, a 7 or 8. Okay. I don't know.
This is a controversial question. Miss Andrus had some feelings on this question that she wanted to get off her chest, so I thought I'd ask you that one too.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ariel or Jasmine?
Oh. I don't know. Maybe Ariel.
Okay. All right. Dawn or dusk?
Dawn or dusk? I get to enjoy dusk more, I feel like. I think during the school year, I'm at school before the sun comes up.
Before the sun comes up. I know, yeah. Good answer.
I do love the sunrise. I don't think anything beats like the sunrise on the beach. I think that's one of my favorite things.
Place you would most like to travel?
Oh, Well, we were supposed to take our first family vacation
Oh,
to the beach. The girls have never been to the beach. We're supposed to go that first week of June. So if I could, that's where I would be, Amelia Island.
favorite junk food?
Oh, that's really hard. Probably anything sweet. Any
Okay.
chocolate, donuts.
All right, that's a good answer.
Mhm.
Um, I know Miss Andress is a coffee drinker. I'm not sure about you. Are you a coffee drinker?
I love coffee,
Yeah.
but I have to do decaf. I get heart palpitations if I
Uh-oh.
don't. So, but I do love coffee, and I love Colgate. It's my favorite too. Like Miss Haynes, they have
Very
the best.
popular with the Our Lady teaching staff. Yeah. Dark chocolate or milk chocolate, Miss Balzer?
Oh gosh, I love chocolate. Probably milk though. Milk chocolate would be my favorite.
All right. Last time you stayed up past 4 a.m.?
Oh goodness. I don't remember staying up past. I mean, I can make it till 2 sometimes when I'm on a good book, but
Yeah.
I don't know about 4. That's pretty hardcore.
If you and your husband had a karaoke competition, who would win?
My husband would never ever do a karaoke competition.
He'd win by
I
default?
mean, except if it was just us here at the house. But he could do guitar. I mean, he could play his guitar. He's good at that. But
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've seen him play guitar before.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but I don't know. Maybe we could do a duet, and he could play the guitar, and I could sing. I don't know.
There you go. Fair enough. And your last question, you already said your middle name was Nicole, so you get out
It
of the
is.
last question. Yeah.
There
Well,
we go.
Miss Balzer, I appreciate your time. Thank you for talking to us.
For having me.
We're trying to make the best we can, but it's been fun to kind of connect with the staff through this way since I never get to see you guys or the kids.
I know.
This has been good for me just to have conversations with you all. So
Yeah,
thank you.
I've enjoyed learning about everybody. These are good.
You have a great day, okay?
You too. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Bye.